Hello, Tumblr. So, I want to do something a little bit different on my blog. And I know most of you probably don't even follow it or really care what I do with it, but I kind of really wanted to try something new. So, since most of you guys know, I'm really into music or hip hop and R&B. So, I figured I might as well try to do an album review of one of my favorite albums, which is, if you can see right here, that's B, Common. Those are one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. So yeah. So if I'll go through, I guess I'll go through track by track with you and why I think it's so great. So the reason why I think this album is so great is because it came back to Common's roots after he released Electric Circus back in 2002. He kind of went a little bit too far away from his original sound, which was soulful beats laid over by some really good production, especially from his top collaborators Jay Dilla and No ID. So when his new album came along, which is B in '05, I think when he started collaborating with Kanye, I believe he got signed to the Good Music label, and Kanye, I think, saw his earlier work and wanted to go back to it. Wanted to go back to that sound that people knew him and loved. And what's so great about Kanye is that Kanye was actually mentored by No ID, which was Common's main producer at the time. So it wasn't really that far off a sound for Kanye to delve into. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling on a bit, but in this album right here, it really did go back to the soulful sound that Common was used to doing, and it ended up really great because, as you all know, Kanye is a stellar producer, and in this album it showed. It's almost like he went back to his old Kanye roots just for this album and delivered, because Common's rhymes in here, it all deals with a bunch of social political stuff, mostly it doesn't really get too deep. It's just what he just raps. The way what Common raps about best is that, women, race, political views, and then stories as well as stories, and he just does what Common does. Common delivers with his rhyme scheme, but I believe the thing that I love about this album is just how consistent it is from beginning to end. It's almost like, if you know the album Illmatic, which is a classic for most people, it's a very short album. It's got about 10 tracks on it, but from beginning to end, it brings you to this other world. Not, you know what I mean? When you listen to it, you don't get bored. Nas is such a compelling storyteller that it never does get. There's just no filler on it. It's just one great ride. It's an album you can only truly appreciate when you start from beginning to end. It's the same with this album, except the thing about this album is that it's even though it's also only 11 tracks, but it's just the perfect time. Not one song on here is whack. Let's just say everything on here it's just good music all around, good rhymes, good production, and just the way it's all laid out is just perfect. That's why I rank it up there with Illmatic. Not I want to say if I had a top 10, it would be probably around Illmatic's somewhere around top 5 or at least, but it would be it would be 5 to 10, somewhere around there, because there's other albums, of course, that are more classic, but it's too recent to call this one a classic, because, to be honest, in order for an album to become classic, it has to solidify the genre or do something so unique that it changes the whole spectrum of the genre, which what Illmatic did. When Illmatic came out, it changed everything. When You know, when the Beatles came out, it changed everything. Those are the reasons why they are considered a classic. So, at this time, B is one of my favorite albums, and all I can really say is that if you take a listen, you'll just, it's just, man, it's just great. So, yeah. So, this is so forgive me for this, because this is probably my first time trying to review on camera, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and tell me what you think.